Think that we have to interpret the rules,
Okay.
and because in every game there is the referee report.
Mm-hmm.
Because what is the content of the referee report? Because we're told Morocco actually launched an appeal against Senegal,
Mm-hmm.
and but I think that what CAF ought to have done was to tell us the information which is in the content of the referee's report. And the referee was supposed to be told whether the referee was invited by the by the homologation committee, and what is the decision from the homologation committee towards the referee.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are in a scenario where it was all about poor refereeing, and the referee, in my opinion, was supposed to be called up by this commission, and an investigation ought to have been opened for us to see what the result is after the investigation. I think that's where CAF is getting it wrong, because the same in CAF, in their text, is very unequivocally clear that the referee commission needs to sit and come out with a result when there's an allegation against a referee. And I think that the next question should be, did Senegal actually launch a complaint against the referee after they had won the game? Maybe this is an opportunity where Senegal has to also launch an appeal, maybe against the referee, for us to get first. Because in my opinion, CAF, they have been too fast in coming out with a decision for which other things that ought to have been done have not yet been done. That is, for us to come out with to ascertain the clarity whether the referee was involved in match fixing. That's one. Because remember, in 2018, before the during the qualification games for World Cup 2018,
Mm-hmm.
the game South Africa versus Senegal, that was played in Polokwane. In that same game, there was, I think South Africa won in Polokwane,
Mm-hmm.
but Senegal launched an appeal against the referee. And after investigation from FIFA, it was alleged that the referee was involved in match fixing.
Mm-hmm.
And FIFA had to cancel the game because South Africa was supposed to represent Africa.
Okay.
But it was cancelled, and the match that was replayed, Senegal actually won. We must go back to the roots. When there's an issue, where do we begin? We begin by assessing the referee. Based on the referee commission report, we will then know whether the next step should be taken. Because if it is ascertained that the referee was involved in match fixing, then the referee should be the one to be sanctioned. But in this case, CAF has gone ahead to sanction Senegal in favor of Morocco, for which it's so unfair. We need to apply the rules. All the articles are very clear, unequivocally stated by CAF. So we need to look at each rule and apply it in the most appropriate manner. Handpicking articles, like they have handpicked Article 82 and 84, and telling us that because Senegal walked out of the pitch, reasons why they consider it to be forfeit in favor of Morocco. But again, how do you establish that there is forfeit
in a match that
which actually went to its end? It is the referee that ought to have ended the game and declare it forfeit. But since that wasn't done, it therefore means we were all unanimous that the game should continue. In that case, it outweighs the forfeit rule, because the forfeit was supposed to have been established by the referee.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, it wasn't done. It therefore means forfeit has now been established in the drawing board, in the rooms, which we think that it's as though CAF had already handpicked Morocco, whatever the scenario, to win the tournament, which again reduces the image of Africa.
Yes.
Because throughout the tournament, I'd seen it from day one. The game Morocco against Tanzania during the group phase, that's where the issue of AFCON began.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't see it, but that's when the problem of AFCON actually started.
Okay.
Tanzania had a glaring penalty, and that penalty wasn't awarded to Tanzania. And I think Morocco went ahead and won that game. I think it was
1-0.
yes,
1-0.
1-0. That's where the problem of AFCON started. But a lot of people didn't see that there was a problem at that time until it got to Cameroon's level, it got to Nigeria, then to the finals. That's when people started seeing that, hey, there is a problem. But if we had opened our eyes from day one during the group phase, we would have understood that Morocco has already been handpicked. And reasons why I felt so bad for the Cameroonian team when we had to face Morocco, because it's like the scores had already been established even before the game. Once again, it's a disgrace for Africa. Motsepe is taking Africa back to the what we thought we had already walked through that phase of that struggle, because I think that Mr. Issa Ayato of blessed memory actually worked so much to ensure that Africa should have the respect that they deserve, based in the organization of events, based on the image of the players that we got in an African context. Africa will count players like Samuel Eto'o, DJ Drogba, Osimhen, JJ Okocha. So Africa should be at the forefront of discussion when it has to do with world football. But with such a decision from CAF, it tells you that Africa cannot be considered. Once again, we have taken ourselves backwards. When we go now on the international table to have conversation at the level of CAF, FIFA, or when it has to do with FIFA, you realize that Africa will stay there. We will be there like stooges. We'll be there as stooges. We'll only have to implement decision from FIFA. I think that Motsepe once again is demonstrating to Africa that we need the right people to sit at the level of CAF. Issa Ayato was not loved by FIFA because he stood his ground to make sure that African independence in terms of football, sports, is respected at the highest level. What Motsepe is doing for Africa is destroying generation, which we think that once again, CAF should go back to their drawing board and reverse this decision.